2024 has been an up and down year for movies. We had a lot of hits this year along with a lot of duds. This year has been the best year for animated films, but you can also see it as the worst year for superhero films. Along with that, this is the first year where we are finally getting back to normal and people are finally getting ready to go back to the theaters after the pandemic. With all of that out of the way, I wanted to give out my most anticipated movies of next year. But before we get into the top 10, I wanted to list some honorable mentions because there are so many movies I'm excited for that I can't fit into this entire list. One I didn't expect to put on here, but after seeing the first one, is Wicked for Good. I fully expected to hate Wicked, but I really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to see how they can conclude this story. There's also the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake. I'm not someone who likes the live-action remakes, but I do love the original one, and that trailer was just heat. And it's being directed by Dean DeBlois, who did the animated films, so I'm actually looking forward to this one. Along with that, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. I have a guilty pleasure for the Jurassic Park films. This one I'm a bit more hesitant after Dominion, but they have the original writer David Koepp attached, along with the great director and cast, so I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic for now. And finally, we have Thunderbolts, the only other Marvel film I'm actually interested in. I know people have complained about the lineup, and I do agree, but having the writers of The Bear on board gives me a lot of faith, so I will definitely give this a chance. But now, let's get into the top 10, starting off with Sinners. This is a movie directed by Ryan Coogler and stars Michael B. Jordan as twins. It's a vampire film, so basically Blade before Blade. Plus, it has Haley Steinfeld, which is a huge plus, as I'm a massive fan of hers. Ryan Coogler has never let me down, from the Creed films to Black Panther. So this is a film I'm definitely looking forward to, especially as a horror fan. And you give me Michael B. Jordan with vampires? Sign me up! Number 9 is Mickey 17. This is a movie that was actually supposed to release this year, but instead was pushed to 2025. It follows Robert Pattinson as someone who keeps dying over and over again until eventually he meets a clone of himself. The trailer looked super goofy, and I love what the director did with Parasite. Plus, it's been hard for Robert Pattinson fans. We need a win, especially after the Batman 2 got delayed again. Number 8 is Predator Badlands. Now, I'm going to be straightforward. I only saw the first Predator, but I am starting watching all the films right now, actually. And I'm really enjoying them. But from what I've heard, the one from 2022 is the best one. I think it's called Prey. And the director of that film is now handling this one. From what I have heard, the plot sounds like it might piss some people off, but I don't care about that stuff. And after what they have done with the Planet of the Apes films and Aliens this year, I cannot wait for this. Number 7, Avatar: Fire and Ash. I can already see the people saying Avatar is overrated, and I have never agreed with that statement. The first Avatar film is enjoyable. It does have its issues, but then Avatar: The Way of Water came out and sold me on this franchise. Also, James Cameron is one of my favorite directors, from what he did with Terminator, to Aliens, to Avatar, so I cannot wait for this, and for people to get pissy when this one or one of the sequels makes $3 billion. Like, it's inevitable. Number 6, I have the Michael Jackson biopic called Michael. I am a big Michael Jackson fan. I loved his music growing up. I don't think there is a soul on the face of the earth that doesn't know who Michael Jackson is. The cast also looks great, and from the pieces of information we got, it seems like this could live up to our expectations, but I'm also curious to see what happens, because this is a film that is gonna be polarizing because of all the drama that went down, but it's Michael Jackson. Regardless of what happens, I'm there day one. Number 5 on my list, I have Zootopia 2. I don't know if I have mentioned this, but I am a big fan of animation. I grew up with animation, specifically with Disney animated films, and Zootopia is one of my favorites that they have come up with recently. I can go on and on about how Disney animated films are in the works and how most of them just feel like cash grabs, but Zootopia is one of those that I feel like there's still so much you can explore here. Especially since we are going to the jungle and seeing reptiles and seeing how the world treats them, that could be such an interesting movie. Number 4, I have Wake Up Dead Man, the third and final film in the Knives Out series. What Rian Johnson has done with these films has just been fantastic. Daniel Craig has done a great job in this role, and the cast, once again, is stacked as expected. The only thing that disappoints me is that this might not get a theatrical release, and this kind of film deserves that treatment. And with that said, it's going to be the biggest Knives Out film yet. Oh, I cannot imagine what they're going to do here and what mystery they're going to solve, but I cannot wait to find out. Number 3 on my list is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I am a big fan of the Mission Impossible films. It is easily one of the most consistent film series I have seen. Tom Cruise is easily my favorite movie star. He has always delivered with these films, especially since this is most likely the last film he's going to do of his. So I'm going to be there day one, but the budget has gone overboard. So I'm a bit worried about how it's going to perform at the box office. I'm not someone who normally cares about money, but in this case, I'm a bit worried. Regardless, I'm there, and I can't wait to see what happens. Number 2 is The Fantastic Four First Steps. I made a whole video about the Fantastic Four earlier this year, and needless to say, I love this team and have been dying for a good, faithful adaptation. Because compared to other popular heroes, we have never had a good Fantastic Four movie. Sure, the original ones are fun, but I wouldn't call them good. Then we had, well, whatever this is. And now with the cast and the crew, I think this will be that film. Like, the director was literally born on the day the Fantastic Four was created. If that does not tell you that this is going to have a lot of passion put into it, I don't know what will. But my number 1 most anticipated film of next year is Superman. I honestly don't think any film comes close to this. Not only because this is the revamp of the new DC universe, but also this is the first Superman movie in 12 years. The trailer they dropped looked great. I am loving the way it's depicting Superman, the aesthetic of it all, seeing these other heroes, the Daily Planet, and just telling us that we need hope. I think that's why this trailer has blew up as much as it did, because we live in a world where it feels like nothing but negativity. So now is the perfect time for Superman to come back, and boy do I hope Gunn and his crew delivers, because so far, it looks great. But those are my most anticipated films. I'm sure I have missed out some of your favorites, so what are your guys' most anticipated films of next year? And what were your favorite films of this year? Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for future videos. But until next time, take care and have a happy new year.